Okay, last wave. Come on. Give me the AFK sim for the video. Here they are. One big boy. What's closest? See, I could finish him off, right? I can rolling stun right now. He'll be dead. But we'll do the we'll do the full justice AFK, pure AFK. Wait, am I dead? Am I dead? Okay, never mind. Yeah, I was gonna. Okay. I mean, that's pretty much AFK. I mean, I'm intentionally gimping myself by not using my skills. I could have rolling stab, could have leap stabbed him. He would have died it way. He could have died way long time ago. He would have. He would have. Nah. Bro. I think. Oh my god, bro. Everything is dead! Oh my god, that's crazy. Talk about clear speed. The entire beast just died. In fact, I can just walk around, by the way. Can just walk around. Walking around, no problem. Cast when walk. Look at this, I'm just walking around. No skills. And I'm not Thorns. No. A tourist would not play a Thorns build. Not great. Yeah. It could be worse. Wait, I can stack. Oh. It's not optimized, so whatever. I can ignore everything though. Okay, this doesn't matter, right? Just stand still and he dies. It doesn't. I'm so tanky, it doesn't even matter. Mechanics or ignored. I just don't care. What mechanics? Wait, he's still alive. Wait, what? It's 2 parts? I didn't know that. There you go. Bro, it's not fair. What is to do here? There you go. Not my fault, bro. It's just a pain in the ass. My God, Mr. Sign. My God, Mr. Sign. Me? That's all I know. I learned from a very special German person. A little bit of German. On TV. All I know is, Sebastian Vettel. Mein Gott, musste sein. Der ein Scheißer Abyssal. That's all I know. Just ignore everything, bro. No mechanics required. Ingenuity. Ain't no way. Is it still worth anything? 8 exalts. How far the mighty have fallen. Okay, and this is the quote-unquote AFK Titan. Now, from what you may have seen in the Simulacrum video, I was intentionally AFKing when I could actually just do damage, right? The skills I have for the AFK is simply Wind Dancer only. So that fight was only for with Wind Dancer. And I could have used, you know, Rolling Slam. I could have used Leap Slam, you know, but I didn't. It was just a showcase, right? So obviously, if you do end up doing Simulacrum, you can just use your skills like a normal person would. Okay, but you can also AFK to a certain degree. Now, this build, full clarity, is a tourist-only build. This build does not use thorns. Okay, we use a mace and bleed poison. And for full disclosure, this was recommended to me by Narukat in my chat. I had no idea. My build was going one way, and then Narukat said, try this. And what do you know? This is actually insane, right? Full screen explosions, and the tankiness was from, you know, just Titan armor in general. Titan block, which I was using already, right? And I did look around on PUB, sorry, on Pure Ninja, along with Narukat's PUBs, to see what people were doing. A couple of the guys in Titan are already doing this, so just to be clear. Now, how does this work? Honestly, I don't even know. To be honest, I don't know. So, you just get poison and bleed, and you do poison bleed together. And then you use both Herald of Blood and Herald of Plague, and they chain spread, ignites and bleeds and poisons to monsters around each other, and pretty much just prolifs across the screen. Now, the way we get our damage is by using pure physical. So, of course, a very nice hammer here. I would like to point out that I paid 5 chaos for this. Let me just drag this image up for everybody to see that I'm not bullshitting here. I really did pay 5 chaos. Behemoth Breaker Heavy Hammer, right? There you go. And I crafted it myself afterwards. Okay, and the big part for a mace, I'll share it to you now. It's that you can get this modifier here, Kurgel's Prefix. So if you manage to, you know, unveil a Kurgel prefix with the Kurgel guaranteed modifier, you have a very, very, very high chance of landing IPD, 2% Fizz, with reduced attack speed. Now, of course, reduced attack speed is pretty bad, but it doesn't matter that much in the end. Just getting the base physical, amazing. And then suffixes, you just Essence Slam them all, right? Essence Slam here, done, right? Now, the way this build clears is you can just leap slam around. Oops, wait, what's leap slam? Leap slam around, boom, whole team prolifs. Let's go into skill jump right away. We have leap slam, rolling slam. Now, you can use stampede. So I tried stampede, also fine. Stampede or leap slam for movement skill and damage, and single target is rolling slam. You can also use Helm of the Gods, and I've seen people do that, but I personally hate the glory system. The pain, and it's too tedious. So ICBF. And then you can Herald Blood, Herald Plague, Wind Dancer, 6 linked, so Poison, Bursting Plague, Rage, Corrosion, Magnified. I'll put it all in the PBs down below. And Scavenging Plating here synergizes very well with armor now, so it's going to defenses. So why is defense so good? Why am I so damn tanky? Number 1, I have lots of armor. I have 25k in-game armor, and after I get my stacks from plating, this goes to about like 35-ish k armor, and it goes to both armor for physical and armor for elemental. So I get mods here for armor plus elemental, and here as well, right? That's pretty much 100% from these two items here. So this gives me insane DR for both armor and elemental. In addition, I do like to have Mental Last. In the past, it seemed pretty bad, but I've watched it myself, and it does give you significant recovery rate, because you can just watch your recovery here, right? And it does have a lasting impact, especially in Ultimatum. Sorry, Simulacrum. Very, very good. Next part, we have the new Keystone. This is here. It doesn't matter what number it is. It's just here for a Mamu, which gives you Sacrifice of Flesh. Basically, this is giving you 20% more max hits, right? So pretend my max hit's about 5k, but then the damage is then degened at a 30% extra, right? So from 20% to 30%, 1.5 times. And then now the question is, how do we offset this damage? We offset this damage by always leeching. So fast metabolism gives you basically Slayer's overleech, right? And then I have one more leech here. Leech Fizz attack damage as life, right? All I got. And because this build is pure Fizz, right? Have a look here. Rolling Slam, second slam, this pure physical damage, 200k, right? Everything is pure Fizz. So everything's leeching non-stop. Sometimes I see the leech here like 10,000 per second leeching non-stop. And then because our attacks are so slow, we need to have slow leech. So we want our leech to be slower, over 2 seconds rather than 1. So you can see, this is slow, slow, slow. So you want to make sure your leech is deferred as long as possible, into the future. That's leech. Now, block chats. Block is also really good because I have 54% block exactly. And I have it from, oh, thank you, from a Prism Guardian, which also ties into the spirits. I have 273 spirits in this current setup. I move things around, right? These things get moved around. And this gives me, I take it off, right? 115, 273. Because I have so much life, life gets converted to spirits. Perfect. And then I also have 3 Grand Spectrums, which are apparently really expensive now, but they give us a lot of life. So from 4k to 3.4, so 600 life. It's not that important, but I mean, life is life, right? Life is life. And then down here, we get our armor from IR and leatherbound gauntlets. So I'll just show you real quick. I'm currently at 25k. If I refund these 3 points, or these 2 points, I'm now at 18k. So I lost 7,000 armor from these 2 points. So why is this? It's because I've actually remembered that in 0.1, Rutu used the armor glove with this tech. It's really good. Really, really good. You're looking for a really, really, really high roll armor glove because look, 25 down to 17. This glove here gives me majority of my armor. Majority. And as for my Ascendancy, hulking form is so strong because we need attributes. I think it works for attributes, right? Pretty sure it does. If not, whatever. It also applies to, most importantly, surrounded node. So most of our damage nodes come from these nodes here. The Constricting Command is incredibly strong with this build because you get to use all the surrounded nodes for evasion, sorry, armor, not evasion, okay, only armor. Armor, regen, attack speed, everything, attack damage, and so on. And because hulking form makes it, 50% better, this is 50% damage from one node. So 50%, 50%, 50%, it's just insane. Insane. Now, I will mention that this 5 fewer mod is 7 Divines right now. But you can get away with 4 less, because if you have 4 less, that means you need 1 enemy to be surrounded. And if you're fighting someone, you're always going to be surrounded by 1 enemy. So 4 is okay. And then the next part of defense is shock immunity. Shock is very dangerous, so I've taken these notes here for shock immune if majority support gems are green. So I've just made sure that my green gems here are more than my strength gems. And that's done by, putting random gems here for my race shield, which I never use, and so on, right? Not too hard to get. As for other defenses, I think that is pretty much it. That's defenses. Now, let's go through our requirements, okay, for damage. Damage comes predominantly from the heavy grade hammer. This gives us all the heavy flat damage for everything. And then Rich Latha's coil can then give us more max and less minimum. The less minimum is a pain, but the more max is important. Now here's the second part of Constricting Command. You can actually use the Phi 2 on your links. It gives you lucky damage while surrounded, as well as insufficient mana does not prevent the use of skills while surrounded. So now mana is completely irrelevant, right? You can use all your mana, it doesn't matter. You can just keep casting. It's like Soul Taker in Period 1, right? So now Blood Magic doesn't matter, Soul Taker doesn't matter, right? So there's like 3 in 1 from the Constricting Command. And then lastly, add to Louis Bloodletting. Just to let you know, the more your life costs, the more damage you do. So currently, our top end is 203k. Take it off, 120k. So this gem right here gives us gain damage as actually physical. And because the life cost is so high, it just, it just goes to like insane amounts. And for a single target, I swap them around. So from swapping from Heft and Bloodletting. So Heft is more max physical, which ties in very well with the Fire 2 for lucky. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And as for our tree for damage, we also have, increased damage here. We also have our block damage here, 54% damage here. And we do need some bleeding. Now, at first, I wasn't sure how much bleed do you actually need. So currently, I have pretty much 96% poison chance from the gem. And then, I think it's like 70% bleed chance right here. So bleed nodes here, and bleed nodes here. And I know the bleed isn't perfect, but at least you can attack them more than once, right? More than one attack to bleed, it's good enough. I found it's good enough. And so 6% here times 1.6 from here gives us 96%. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need. And yeah, links will be, as I mentioned earlier, put into the analytics or whatever. I put it up, and I think that's pretty much it. Am I missing anything here? Alright, okay, gear. Go to the gear. This glove I bought for, I think, 10C, and I slammed it with a corruption, which failed. That's useless, right? This was like, I can't remember. It was cheap at the time, at least. Currently, it's 20x, okay? 20x for wrist Arthur. These shoes, I paid a lot. It's like 30C for this, and they auto slammed it for sockets. Rings are good rings here. This was like 20C on stream, by the way, on stream, 20C. Then I essenced it Gamba for the suffix here, gambled it off, and got the essence here. Very nice. This is the most expensive piece. I spent about, I think it was, I paid 2 div for the base, and then I spent like 6-7 div to craft it. And I just crafted it with all the new omens essences to try target things as close as possible. So it's pretty nice. And then that is pretty much it. That's all my gear, pretty much. Yep. Am I missing anything? It's notes here. So max life here is nice, and armor here is nice. If you want, you can go for, you know, empowered. But personally, for Simulacrum, the defense really didn't matter. I was on the edge of dying for AFKing. Obviously, if you don't AFK, there's no issue, right? It doesn't matter. It's not AFK. Simple as that. And this note here is great. So it's 20 plus 50 for 70% crit reduction. That helps a lot for crits. Anything else? Okay, my setup, right. So in Simulacrum, I did change things. I did put in life leech here, right? Life leech onto here instead. Wait, oops, life leech here. Because, you know, I was relying only on Windancer. I needed more recovery here. Otherwise, for mapping, put it in here. And Vitality over Berserk. So in Simulacrum, turn off Berserk, then I put in Vitality, right? The only 2 changes I have. And then, oh yeah, let's go through Simulacrum actually. So, how am I getting my money? So, what I do is I pick up every item in Simulacrum. Every single item. That's because the storage is next to the, it's right there, right? After every wave, just dump everything in the storage, and when you're done with every Simulacrum, you go outside, you get a Doyani, ID everything, then sell. And then sometimes, you will find some nice stuff, right? I have a lot of tabs here, okay? I list everything I get. If they don't sell, they don't sell. But, you can see, things like this, I ID on the floor. You know, this is different, right? But like, a lot of stuff you get, you just find on the floor. You know, Emperor's Gemini Bow, you know, sell the bow cuts of things, these rings are really good. They all add up, right? They'll eventually sell. Megalomaniacs also sell. So I had like a stash over here of Megalomaniacs, and they've eventually sold. If they're better, I price them higher, obviously. I sold for like 3 div, 5 div, 7 div. They just sell. And that's pretty much it for Simulacrum. Just make sure you pick everything up, and then you will find good stuff. Not to mention, one more thing, that if you look up Gemini bow at normal, eye level 82, try guess the price. It is currently 70 exalts each. Well, it was 70 exalts. About 60 to 70 exalts each. And you know, you find one white bow in Simulacrum, that pays for the entire entry fee, right? Other examples would be Siege, Crossbow, you know. These are 35x each. You got your attuned ones. These are pretty decent, I think. Yeah, 10 to 15x each. You also have your armors. I can't remember what they're called, but the, you know, the Tara something. The Tara, I don't know. All the ES gear, the evasion gear. You're feeding the market, right? You feed the market. Pick it all up, list it all, and they all sell. Oh, and one more thing, for example, you know, just I'll go to my shops here for earnings. Well, look at that. Things do sell, right? They just keep selling. And so history here. Look, all the bases sell. Bow, spear, tiara, crossbows, random stuff, rares, megalomaniac here, 3 divines, you know. 3 divines, megalomaniac. Look. 1, 2, 6 divines, megalomaniac, you know. They do sell. And it's list all your, you know, items on the floor from Simulacrum. They will sell eventually, right? All the bases here, drakeskin boots, and so on. And that's pretty much it. AFK Simulacrum in PvE2 by a tourist. I'll catch you next time.